Welcome, everybody. This is Katie, or I am Katie Oshiwanita with Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Seminar and Series with my co-host, Lewis Oxley.
Hello.
And we are looking at Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Foundation Series, Mastery of Keylonta, Episode 9. We are focusing on the Illusion of Martyrdom, pages 30 and 31 out of the Postures of Love, Steps Towards Joy book. So you want to go ahead and do that part?
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone who decided to take the plunge into understanding who we are as spiritual beings, living out the mechanics of manifestation known as Keylonta.
Sorry, sidetracked.
The primary resource that we use today was the Postures of Love and Steps Towards Joy manual by Rose Tobing of the Kafara team by the Azurite Press. This is an excellent summary of applying the freedom teachings in your daily life.
And she's a blessed being as well.
She is.
And I really miss her. And I know she does her own stuff, right, Lewis?
Yeah, she
Is she
does
still
radical forgiveness.
probably on, is it on Facebook? Is she on Facebook? So if anybody looked
Yeah,
up Rose Tobin on Facebook, they would probably find her. Tobin, Rose.
yeah. She has a YouTube channel and things as well, where she does small sessions and interviews
Okay.
regarding what she does. And we are in no way affiliated with the Azurite Press or Race Productions or Bright Flower Studios, as it's now called.
Right. And Rose originally was part of Azurite Press. She does not associate herself with Erase Productions.
The link to download the PDF is on the harmonizingjourney.com website on the HJR Foundation Series page.
Which I changed from, I did have it as HJR seminars, but that's actually separated out now as its own shop product page, which we will be discussing later.
Oh, okay. So for anyone watching, just please put your comments and questions inside the chat. We will either comment in the chat or respond during the next show. Please like, share, and subscribe, and because it helps us be noticed within the algorithm. And if
It's
you're a part
very,
of any
go ahead, Liz.
and if you're a part of any groups or anything that you think might benefit from this information, just share it to them. You never know. You never know how much you could help someone just by the information that we share today.
Thank you, Liz. All right. The illusion of martyrdom. And that, so a belief that you're lacking in worth or must earn your worth in being by relinquishing that which feels of most value to you. Basic gist on that was page 30. And we pretty much focused on page 30 and 31 in the book. And I just wanted to just get, there's her version of martyrdom, and I wanted to get what is the actual definition of martyrdom. So that's what we're going to look at here next. So first definition, one who willingly accepts being put to death for adhering openly to one's religious beliefs, notably saints canonized after martyrdom, which an example is that they gave was on the online dictionary was Saint Stephen's was the first Christian martyr. I did not know that, but okay. Number two, by extension, one who sacrifices his or her life, station, or something of great personal value for the sake of principle or to sustain a cause. So we could kind of say, well, maybe that's actually, there might be something to that. It may be kind of legit, maybe not. depends on those values, because they're your personal values. Okay. So
But the
there may
thing
be
is,
something
though,
to that. What's important to you, maybe for your particular contract in life or whatever you decide you wanted to do. Maybe that's something that was important. So we'll just put it to the
but that
side.
the thing is with that though, is you really have to
The
ask
third
yourself the hard
definition
question.
they gave was with a prepositional phrase, a cause, one who suffers greatly and or constantly, even involuntarily. So to me, that's kind of getting on a maybe dysfunctional end of the spectrum with the word martyrdom. Maybe even towards the codependent side of things. We'll kind of look more at that as we go in the discussion.
I
Again,
suppose you,
online dictionary is my resource.
I suppose though, you have to really ask yourself though.
And so that kind of led us to, or led me looking at martyrdom of actually maybe having some
Yeah.
merit versus what I think it kind of really is. And I think Aisha thought it was too, since that word is being codependency. So we're kind of looking more, it's not so much looking more at the motivations behind the act more than the act itself, right? Because that's really where the importance is. So, are you standing up for your personal moral values about something, right? Because that's very important. Our values, our morals, what we choose and stand by in our life, what we hold within our eternal being and embody. I see a beautiful little cat tail. I see a
Yes.
little Anne Maria. Or are you disregarding your personal moral values to be a doormat for someone else's self-centered needs that are in violation of your way of life? Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of something to look at. That's when we're going more into the codependency spectrum. Because it's both are sacrificing your well-being in some way. Something's being sacrificed. But one honors your eternalness and one compromises your eternalness. You want to add anything to this so far, Liz?
The one question that you really need to ask yourself when it really comes to your own values are, is this really my own values? Because a lot of the time, especially
I
during,
don't hear you. Which means I don't know if it's on. If we
I
need
don't
to
know.
unhook my setup here, if I'm not hearing you. Did you
Oh,
just do something different, or it's
no.
unhooked? Okay. Oh, hold on.
Can you hear me? Uh, 1 second. External headphones. Me okay, right?
Yes.
So I'll probably say the one thing that we really need to kind of ask ourselves is, are these beliefs that I have, are they even mine to begin with? Because we can really kind of be growing up in dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional family situations, and a lot of the times, especially when people are in religion and things, or if they have some kind of like trauma or something, some kind of program that they had growing up, what tends to happen is, especially if it's not healed, that same program will go on for generation, and it will just create this weird martyrdom type situation, I suppose. But then it can also kind of come in the situation of, did you do something really bad in the past to the point where you feel like you need to destroy yourself because you hurt everybody else, which means I have to hurt myself in order to.
Wait, Lewis, hold that. Hold that. We'll get there. I think well,
Did you read it?
no, I'm thinking if I got in more detail, but maybe I didn't.
Oh, don't matter. Well, it's
I
just
mean,
gonna.
if I had another little part that was, let me see what I did next. Maybe I didn't, but okay, go ahead and finish with your thought.
I was just kind of saying that apart from the whole martyrdom program that can kind of formed through generation upon generation upon generation, that sometimes what can happen is you can do something like a really bad deed, and because you hate yourself in terms of what you did. So sometimes you end up just forcing that martyrdom type attitude onto yourself, where you beat yourself up progressively, trying to repent for what you did and trying to forgive yourself, when the reality is it's not going to help. You really need to love yourself and become in frequency harmonization with what you did. And only through that frequency harmonization can you really become what you are, become what you did, and start to harmonize and really.
Which we are going to kind of talk about that too a little bit. Yeah, unjustified karma. And usually with unjustified karma, which you tend to also get implants in different chakras and different energetic programs that run whatever it was. And it can be ancestral as well. And yeah, the not so smart things that we do. Anyway,
Yes.
the next thing that I wanted to look at that I think is another aspect of, I feel, is the martyrs, particularly when a martyr tends to be associated with religion, as well as just being a codependent martyr, is the fear of God program. And I was looking at, as the fear of God ideology is part of Christianity, it's part of Judaism, it's also part of the Muslim religion, and it's very old and ancient idea. And I believe, I get, being a student of Keylonta science and reading the Voyagers, that our third seeding, we're soul transplants. We are have been temporary, most of us, not all, there's some that didn't have to do the transplant, but 99% of the people that we interact with, and probably to a certain extent ourselves, have some, and we're at least utilizing a body that's under the program of a soul transplant, basically. So our religions were well, even if we're not a soul transplant, all the religions were part of a holographic insert of reality for seeding 3 people. Okay, which means it was set up by us as guardians on higher aspects on how we can reintegrate and clear what caused us to disconnect from our template to a certain extent in our soul family. So where we had that our soul family had to go do something else, and they're inserted in with what we call the Raw Confederacy, Raw Collective, to host with, to relearn what we need to do and heal and integrate. And that we were interfered with in that with the certain Anunnaki groups, certain Draco groups. We also had certain with that hosting programs with the Yahweh program, Eye of Yahweh, Eye of Elohim, trying to heal and reintegrate. And so, in my opinion, the Fear of God program is part of us learning to embody different concepts of what God is, and God really is us and being it. And the insertions from the hosting programs of other entities, the Yahweh and Anunnaki, and I think with the Muslims, it's for the Dracos, for their healing and opening portal way to actually reconnect their way. But those fell. Okay, those particular eyes fell, became compromised. Bottom line, we're being those the Jewish and Muslim, and to a certain extent Christianity as well, are God, that God the Father is not the real I am it connection, but got male dominated Anu, Drake, and deities, entities, who's who still had a connection with their higher aspects, even though those aspects were on the compromised side, they still have a connection with their soul families to a certain extent. Whereas we got disconnected, most of us got disconnected and are hosting. Hopefully I'm making this sense. So there's a functional aspect of good, bad, and ugly, right? There's a functional and dysfunctional aspect in this fear of God program. And especially when you look at earlier epochs, you have as well in the beginning, the particularly the post-Atlantean epoch that Steiner references in his work, Rudolf Steiner references, when we were in certain ways very atavistic and very much connected in our pillar, even though that was getting wobbly and it was connected with hosting and different variations, but we're still more linking up. And whereas now that's not true. We are more into the intellect, more into abstract thinking, because we need to develop that to learn, be able to develop discernment skills better of the good, bad, and the ugly, because no longer is it just this one stream of good. We now have the ugly and the bad polarities coming in, which I've been talking about that for a month or two or so. But I wanted to get a good kind of perspective from a religious perspective when, because I know, oh my God, Katie, blah, 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 of whatever the religious group is. So I'm going to give their due. And I thought there was a good little summary for all three of the religions. And this is from Deuteronomy 10:12, lines 20 and 21. Out of that book, out of the records. So, and now, O Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Fear the Lord your God and serve him. Hold fast to him and take your oaths in his name. He is your praise. He is your God. He performed for you those great and awesome wonders you saw with your own eyes. The fear of God is the basis for our walking in his ways, serving him, and yes, loving him. I mean, personally, to me, especially at this evolutionary stage, embodying, loving, and just being connecting into my pillar and just being in that love and being in walking and being examples that the Bible gave, which I think a lot of the examples are very much examples to follow, even though they got twisted and made into this male deity, which there is a certain aspect of the Christos, right? When we get into the Christos and the Christalla within the core, Christos out picturing the etheric body, which then evolved into the Christ consciousness of the sun, within the sun. And everything, all the planets are within the sun. And there's very complexity with that. So, yeah, but really it got co-opted and made into this deity, male deity. But it does have its organic roots. Did you want to add anything to this before I go on?
I suppose the fear of God, at least from a Keylonta perspective, would really come from the fall of Lyra. And the fall of Lyra, in simple terms, is when we lost our 12-dimensional access. And what the 12th dimension is, it's the point of all union in the sense where the polarities become one, or where they're joined together to become one. And by losing that connection, because when the 12th Stargate, when Lyra was functioning correctly, we would always hold that connection. We would always hold that all-knowing connection that no matter where we are in the Cathara grid, we're always connected to all these higher parts. But when we lost that, by losing that, we also lost our connection to that part of ourselves that was like, where do I fit into all this kind of thing, and what do I connect into, and that fear of the finite nature, because by losing the D12 access, we did become finite, where the eternal energies couldn't really flow anymore, and we only had a limited source of energy. So I really do think the Fear of God program does originally come from there. And potentially looking into the Voyager's materials and things, you can even look at even more where this Fear of God program kind of comes in, and kind of thinking more of during Egypt, where you had that pharaoh, he had the codes, or in his words, he could be the god that held the codes to take people through the halls of Amenti and back into Terra, because he held that god program to bring people through. But yeah, he only let people in that were a part of his people. That were only part of his people, that were part of his own genetic line. So even he had that kind of where he became God in a way, I suppose. And it's really, really messed up, especially looking how at the different levels of how it just down steps and down steps and down steps. From the cosmoversal level into the universal, into our personal, planetary.
And I mean, chances are when the religions were created, that was in mind. They knew that was a program that they could utilize. We could utilize as guardians.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, though, sometimes it might have been necessary. These religious programs might have been necessary because, especially if, again, if we look back at the history again, the Dracos, when they came through, when they when they went through and they were started hosting with the Braharama races, when they got out of Phantom, or might have been Weezerdrack or wherever, it doesn't really matter. But when they graduated through and went through that eye, they held this program of being very draconian. Very, very draconian. Sometimes they do need this program in order to put that program right, to make them where they have to be victimized to such a point where they no longer want to victimize other people. So it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing, I suppose, but
Oh, I definitely feel that all the religions the guardian was put in place by the guardians to begin with, which meant
yeah,
they were all designed to get us back on track. Did they get co-opted and altered a bit at time in places? Yes. But the overall teachings themselves definitely have a lot of value. And if you understand that when you're reading them, you can kind of assess the good, bad, and the ugly. What was actually really the good put in there? What do we really need to learn about embodying? Again, loving thyself, love him, love thyself, serve thyself, which if we're looking at being I am, so there's being in our internal pillar, understanding first that, making that connection, and how, as an I, we expand into the amness, and how everybody else is a part of who we are. We love everybody around us, right?
yeah,
Um, and we're loving God, right? We were doing that. Um, loving with our heart, with our soul, um, to be of to serve him, to be of service. Um, to hold fast to him and take your oath in his name. So um, always having as we speak, right? We are creators through our speech, through our voice, through words, sound, creation of sounds is very important, right? Um, praise, appreciation, right? Appreciating all of what we create, good, bad, and ugly, and honoring that and being in that. We honor who we are. Um, and being in wonderment of all of what we create. I could probably referencing something that was said earlier, but anyway, maybe the burning bush or something, I don't know. But anyway, of these deeds, um, honoring every action we take, honoring actions that we see around us, honoring the earth itself and what's created. Um, that fear of God is the basis of our walking in his ways. When we have that knowing that everything, okay, of course, taking the fear aspect, but tough it out, but walking in his way. Well, we are it, the he, we are it. So every action we take, every step we take, are we mindfully walking in our authentic expression of who we are as the all that is within our pillar? And serving him, serving everybody, ourselves, and everybody around us. And yes, being in that love, right? So it's just a little bit of way of tweaking things back to its organic state. And of course, what we're really looking to do, and what we really need to do to step out of getting caught up in the dysfunctional aspect of the martyrdom program, is omni love, kind, nurturing, and assertive. And that was kind of page 31. So really being in that state of grace within the Hanatalia, or the love, lowest unified field velocity bubble consciousness, right? We have within us, especially when we're in our core, the ability to harmonize, kind of Lewis was kind of talking about it too earlier. We have within us the ability to harmonize the good, the bad, and the ugly within our template structure. There's something about the Chris design that through our birthday receivers and filters, we feel stuff through our template. And particularly when you're getting into the pillar of peace energy, the harmonizing journey into that mechanics, makes it even better, works it out even more help, healing. But we have ability within our template when we're in alignment to filter through, and because with the good and the bad, it's really kind of a polarity between light and sound, feeling out in resonance. So you can kind of bring what feels kind of bad back into harmony with the good, maybe go a little too far, maybe in what feels like it might be good, you want to bring it back a little, bring some of that, what might appear bad in, and then you have what goes too far in the bad and has really second creation assignment mechanics. You can run the pillar with second creation finite mechanics was built on the organic structure with changes. You run the pillar energies, you run the energy through it, you can realign, recalibrate what second creation finite mechanics back into its organic form through your template, especially if you're running your pillar and aligning. That's what I've been doing. There is a natural, and again, there's a natural balance between giving and receiving built in as part of the Chris Code design of what can harmonize. There's a natural balance between giving and receiving built into the Chris Code design, right? So usually with the martyrdom, it's going too far in the giving without the balance of the receiving. But if you're in your pillar, you may go over with giving a lot, sacrificing, but there will be always the returning back something to be given back and receive something probably even more than what you've been given in a positive. Oh, sorry, Liz.
As you're kind of talking about this, one of the prayers that really just kind of kept popping up to me, and that was the I am grid, or the AM and the PM grid, and it really just kind of says that I am one with the cosmic mind, and it's just telling you that you're a part of the cosmic mind, no matter how lost that you think you are. You have access to that cosmic mind. I'm held gently at all times within the love of the original one. So no matter how far away you go, or no matter how much you think you've messed up, you're always held within the love of the original one. The, I am strong and resolute in my calling. I hear the call of my sacred original divine self, my God self leading me home. And that's just, again, that's telling you that no matter where you find yourself within this hologram, no matter how messed up it is, you can always call back on this organic connection to God's source, to calling back on that organic, authentic connection that you have to your template, because it's always connected to source and it always comes out of a God seed. And through that God seed is where you're always going to be coming back home. So it's just a really powerful prayer, because it's just reminding you, no matter what you do or where you are or how much you might have fucked up, you're always at home, no matter what. You're always at home within the house of many mansions, within our 15-dimensional time matrix and above. So it's just something just to really just to acknowledge.
Thank you, Lewis. But what we've been doing on this planet is living more the finite second creation Earth game. So again, the Fibonacci tube torus flowers of life death spiral, aka the harmonic program, runs opposite the natural crystal spiral laws, perpetual renewal. And so understanding that is really important. That feeling of lack, not enough, death, it kind of goes into life is finite and death is a factor of life. So you're always wanting to, what can I gain? What can I hold on to? Like, how can I build up energy, life force? Which also we get into the might is right to gain resources to sustain and maintain. So with, again, martyrs, people are selfish as a general rule, which there's nothing wrong with that. Even with the action of sacrificing, there's some kind of gain they're wanting to get. If it's the favor of God, because they fear God and they want to gain their positive position with God, they're going to do a sacrifice. So I'm sorry, Lewis, did you want to add something that I just said?
No.
Okay. So in conclusion, martyrdom occurs when we have lost the balance between giving and receiving life force energy, right?
Yeah.
You have too much fear, anxiety, and allowing others or other programs of ideologies or others' ideas or needs to counter our own, because in the end, we're trying to gain something else. But we actually gain life force when we hold, but in actuality, we actually gain life force when we hold steady to our inner guidance system, even in the face of physical loss. We can have some kind of physical second creation finite mechanics harmonic loss, right? From second creation finite mechanics. There can be a loss from this realm, but we are bigger than this physical realm, right? We're soul, oversoul, avatar, rishis, plasma beings, there's spirit. What's the bigger goal? What's the bigger gain, right? We lose life force when we bend over to the harmonic forces, allowing them to rule over us. That's really kind of the important gain in this, that when we're getting caught up in the illusion of martyrdom, like it's something really good, we're really losing something. Because again, if you're in your internal pillar and you're in alignment, and yes, you may do some actions that may have some consequences that aren't the greatest when we're holding into what we know is not some other buddy's planetary program, but we know we're connecting in through our direct line to values that we hold as a Christic being. We will bring in a lot more. But you do, like Lewis said, be making sure these values, norms, cultural perspectives, religious perspectives, understand what's behind them. Are they really Christic, and are they into making the connection with the eternal being as IA, or is it something else? So that's really part of the discerning good, bad, and the other. Do you want to add anything, Luis?
Yeah. The one thing that was really coming to my mind is, and this is kind of what I always ask myself, what little thing can I do to give back to the collective? And the one thing that I always kind of do is I kind of think of food is a good example. Energy is food, after all, at least in this vampiric kind of matrix that we're currently in. But there's a way that we can really flip that over, because obviously there's contracts in place with animals and fruits and veg and all these other kind of beings that sacrifice themselves, you know, that sacrifice themselves to us so that we can consume them in order so then we can help to heal the wider place. Now, by them sacrificing themselves, a lot of the times that these beings, these elementals and everything else, they kind of get stuck within the food and things. And by getting stuck in the food, they go into our body, they get twisted around, and we're kind of stuck with loads and loads of elementals running through us, which isn't good. It causes a lot of chaos within our own lives. But as a part of that kind of question I was kind of asking, how can I give back? The one thing that you can really do to give back is because by they allowing us to consume them, if we can actually start running the heart frequency, we can start running the plasmas when we eat our food in order just to release the parts of themselves that are stuck, so then they're no longer stuck here and they can go into the next life. It's just a little bit of giving, and it will help us just create good karma because we're being mindful that everything is a part of God, and that ultimately, as being angelic humans, we have a responsibility to the planet, to the selves, to act in a certain way. And we can only really do that by kind of growing, by experiencing, and ultimately by doing things wrong. But like you said, we're always in perpetual renewal anyway. And by messing up and doing things wrong, we've still got that perpetual renewal so then we can do things better. So it's not like it's not like we can do one thing wrong and it's the end of it, ultimately, but
I want to add to that, and actually it's something that read Rudolf Steiner's work as well. Now he's talks about initiation science or esoteric Christianity, which actually is technically part of Second Creation Planet program here. But Steiner had a way of bringing in a lot of organics. But one of the things that is talked about is how the angels, so to speak, or the beings, okay, that were involved in creating our realm, sacrificed a part of themselves in the creation, which you could say creating dimensionality. But when they were sacrificing themselves, they weren't doing it as a martyr. They were expecting, as they were sacrificing a part of themselves into the development of the human being or the planetary structure, they were going to be an integral part of that evolutionary development and actually become something more, because the angelic human or the human was supposed to evolve to a higher state, right? But what ended up happening for a lot of them is exactly what Lewis has said. Now he's talking in terms of food, but all these elemental being, energetic consciousness beings at varying different levels of development or dimensionality, sacrifice something in the evolution and development of the domains. And some of them, many of them, unfortunately, got stuck. And that's part of why the planet is a finite light structure now. And the net Earth is all these beings that have gotten stuck. So when we're healing ourselves, and they're an integral part of our anatomy and soul development, and right, because we're not just, we're the I am. When we heal ourselves, when we run healing energies and work through our shadow aspects and whatever else, we're also healing them and releasing them as well. So there's so much benefit to this work. So much benefit. Thank you, Louis, for sharing. Which I'm thinking, do you recall, Louis, when we what time it was when we started?
Wasn't it like 9 minutes past 6 or something?
Okay. All right. I can't remember. I didn't look. All right. So we're doing we got a few minutes. I was gonna see if we had time to do the I am grid, but I'm just gonna kind of just skim through private sessions. Again, harmonizing journey to realignment seminar sessions. This is a journey to reconnect and realign with the internal eternal core of your being, of the all that is, God's first eternal. We combine Keylonta technology, light body, and Tandria her spirit body mechanics. All the links are in the description box below. And harmonizingjourney.com is the website, which are private sessions. I really recommend for people to take their time and just read through the whole website. Yep, there's a frequently asked questions, FAQ section. There's an about section. There's just the private session has information. The HJR Grid Keepers has information that's really helpful. So Harmonizing Journey YouTube channel has a playlist with introductory Harmonizing Journey with Katie Oshiwanita introductory sessions, as well as just other playlist introduction to Keylonta playlist. We of course have all of the playlists for the mastery of Keylonta and some other playlists that I'm spacing on that you can get a really good background to determine is Harmonizing Journey right for you. And again, HJR seminar series, we are now starting to provide digital products for PDFs, audios, and video recordings of HJR journeys and workshops. It's very new. We just got three digital products right now. But you can go on the website onto that page, and they're actually for those that have been doing a lot of personal work and feel pretty connected with their pillar. There's a Harmonizing Journey introductory session there with the PDF to prepare. And then you can purchase the HJR Beginners Handbook on how to kind of direct that, go in, and there's an audio recording of the prayer to get into the pod space a lot faster, and then kind of things to do and things to be mindful of. There's a particular one for working with your shadow aspects and healing that, as well as another one for utilizing NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to touch and breathe. With that as well, to really help in the clearing process of your traumas and programs and belief systems and things getting in the way of you being successful, and aligning with your pillar, with your eternal expression. So you can develop that more personal connection and be able to discern better between the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't know how long it's going to last, but for a little while. When you go to purchase one of the digital products, you can get a 10% discount. Just enter the code HJR, all in capitals, and then 10, and you get 10% discount for a while. And then the HJR Grid Keepers Community Membership Program. For those that, well, really the previous page we were just on is those that are not ready to make the leap into grid keepers, don't really feel they need a session, but they still kind of want to connect in and do the work. They can do that way. If they would like a bit more attention and support and help, the Grid Keepers group is very helpful. And to go that route. And there's sessions or journey sessions that you can do to develop your connection into the crystal caverns and then build your way up into the Urea Earth connection of the spirit body, and go a little bit more into the science and stuff behind that, and eventually making the connection with the live journey group. And then of course there's a monthly discussion that can be part of that whenever you're ready. And yeah, the Mashayahana, Urea Earth Conservatory, Waikin Prayer Healing and Awakening Salon Pod, located in the Silver Seed IF Sanctum within the Ureta Great Hall within the Crystal Caverns and Lower Earth Daily Plains. Part of connecting into the new Earth, disengaging from the old matrix that's net Earth, again, to Taurus, Fibonacci spiral, death, light,
Basic death.
And embodying the Keylonta of and the science that created the Keylonta to begin with, and connecting into the new light body structure that I've been discussing for months. We're also with the HJR, either joining the Grid Keepers group itself, or there will be newer products that I will be putting in place, working within the crystal caverns. But we're in the process, or it's pretty much done, linking Urea Earth into more directly into the crystal caverns pool, and we'll be working within the crystal caverns. Do a lot of the work, some of the work that we've had to wait until you're in Urea Earth. A lot of people can get certain things done in the crystal caverns. If they ever decide to go into Urea Earth, doesn't matter. They can get certain things done again independently, or if they want to become part of the Grid Keepers group, they will be doing that. I'll be talking more as that gets more developed over time, what that's going to be, but just giving you a little heads up. We're kind of looking at a wide range, helping the beginner people and where they want to go with their development. And so we'll find their way in hooking into New Earth. And then those that want to actually be part of creating New Earth through harmonizing journey to alignment. And Lewis, it looks like you wanted to add something.
To kind of really expand on what Katie's doing. So to put it in kind of simple terms, Aisha does a program called Tangible Structures of the Soul. And the Tangible Structures of the Soul is pretty much just a program that you can do of 6 techniques. And it works you through the light body structure, so soul, over, soul, rishi, then into the God seed, etc., etc., etc. What Katie is doing with this new level 1 course that she's creating is pretty much the same thing. It's just working your way up through the level 1 level of your spirit body within the crystal caverns, and then there's going to be eventually a level 2, then eventually a level 3. Once you go through the level 3 into 4, then into your Earth. So it's just a really basic program for people that are just really curious to see if it's for you, because I mean you have nothing to lose. And if you join the Grid Keepers community, you already get access to those different levels as they get released. So no pressure, nothing like that, just something to test out.
Whatever works for you. As well as along with that, we have the HJR Grid Keepers Handbook. We have a physical version, paperback version of it, and a PDF. Again, HJR does not mean conforming to any religion or organization's rule on how to live a happy, successful life or how to make it to heaven. It means focusing on waking up to whom we are as spiritual beings living in a bio-spiritual universe. The first step in breaking the cycle of expressing as a finite life structure is embodying the concept, belief system, or hologram that we are God's source, first eternal life humans co-creating. HJR is a map or guide that takes you to where you want to go. Again, it's all of us are on our own personal journey within our personal planetary multi-geometric field structure. So again, definitely worth investing in. If you're going independently your own way, you just want to incorporate the information. Lots of good different things. Some of what's in the Grid Keeper's Handbook is also for purchase as well. When you're some of it's not. And or if you become a Grid Keeper member, definitely you want it if you're an HJR Grid Keeper. And there's the Awakening Alania book series, really inspired sci-fi fantasy series about who we are as spiritual beings living in a multidimensional bio-spiritual existence. For those that really like the novel, touchy-feely, come in the back door, get the energy, consciousness, activations that kind of go with the information. This is a really good series. When it starts when we were in Harmonic Universe 2 Terra. Yeah, there's modern day 2012 Earth, and they both have their own ways of waking up. So if you're still kind of like struggling, it's like, hey, this is too much, it's too technical, it's way too much. This is really good, helps to activate to where the technicals maybe start becoming a little less overwhelming, and we can actually start understanding the technicals a little bit. But first, you're going through this book. I don't know if you wanted to add anything more, Lewis.
It's really just a good book for bringing your D2 self, your soul level, the aspects of you that are currently on Tara doing their own kind of thing right now. It's really good for just bringing that aspect of yourself in. So then you can start reading Voyages and all this other kind of stuff and really have a bigger background in terms of what was going on politically and everything else, and pretty much how everything that went on in the past is now affecting us in the present, and hopefully we align it back in the future. Working with these books, I've really started kind of realizing that these two books that she's currently created are like doorways in a lot of ways. It's connecting your past self. It's connecting into the future. So the first book is the past. You go through the book, you start to create that connection. You start to read the second book, which is based in the present. You start connecting with your present self here. And then she's currently working on a third book, which is based on a new future Earth. So it's just a wonderful tunnel, so to speak. Can you stop doing that? Sorry.
Um,
Sorry, the cat is attacking my leg as we speak.
it takes forever to write these books, literally forever, because it's a matter of alignment, downloads, portals opening up, connecting. And this third book is going to be embodying more of New Earth. And it seems like for the most part, I mean, I was kind of surprised at this point. I thought I'd have more Grid Keepers, more awakened people that could align and come in. But the planet has just been struggling. So of course the planet's struggling, the life of the planet's struggling, and people are just kind of not quite yet. So I've not quite been yet either with the book. I'm on the third chapter, I think, getting the groundwork established, but really making that next shift, it's been a bit slow. Plus just getting sidetracked on other things of daily life. But through my living daily life, the shifts occur. We're getting closer. I'm feeling a bit, things are changing. I think people are starting to kind of a little bit more, especially we had some things opening up at the end of May, going into June. August is going to be another significant point with the magnetic peak of the year. September, usually September, November, December, there's other activations that occur. There'll be other things that will line up. And when we shift into 2027, we should be moving a lot better. We're getting there. And trying to align with that shift with the work that I do to kind of help support people, nurture people to make that awakening themselves as well and move along. a lot smoother.
Everything that Katie does, whether that's the HCR or the bigger program that she's kind of running, it all connects you into the new Earth base pulse rhythm that she's creating. She has a wonderful story on how she's actually kind of made Urea Earth, starting from maybe 2016, maybe around that time, and then you've come really into alignment with it. You could probably make a whole video on that, to be honest.
Actually, 2011, 2012.
Oh, really? That far back?
Yeah, that
But yeah,
was amazing journey started to form when we had the breach in the shield, chaos shield, and all went down with the Alhambra coming in. And I mean, with aligning with that aspect of myself that's on Alhambra, really did a huge amount of healing stuff that was going on planetarily, and just created a really tight connection with them, and really bringing in my part as that expression, and my history of my own evolutionary development and who I am as a Keylonta. Yeah, got us to where we're at today. Yeah.
my whole point I was kind of just trying to make is that everything that Katie does really emits a specific bass pulse rhythm. And what a bass pulse rhythm is it's the part of you that kind of flicks on and off, on and off. It's like a co like a coordination into a specific space-time vector or space-time location, and everything that she does emits that same bass pulse rhythm. So whether you want to align into HCR, whether you just want to kind of put your feet into the water, just buy a book. Just really feel into the bass pulse rhythm that Katie's creating and where she's really leading us with the HCR Grid Keepers membership and everything, and just feel it out.
Thank you, Lewis. And thank you all for watching. Please, as we said earlier, please like this video if you enjoyed the content. Definitely, it helps with YouTube. If you're viewing this from the website post, obviously it helps with that. I'm still learning the SEO stuff, which is just over my head, but I'm getting there. But I know people's letting people, when people respond and say how they appreciate it, it's huge. It really makes a difference so that other people can get connected to this content. And again, part of that waking up process. And you can share to anyone you think would be of interest in this content, and whatever social media platforms you're on. Very helpful to post. If you haven't subscribed yet to either YouTube or both the harmonizingjourney.com website, very helpful. As supporting the platform, as well as particularly for, well, both of them really, but for YouTube channel, make sure you've got that excuse me, notification button clicked on as well, so that when I do post something, excuse me, for some reason my chest is tightening up. You want to get notification when I do post something, because again, still you may not get it in your feed unless you hit, and even sometimes when you hit the notification button, always check to make sure you still have that going, because some people get the notification button gets off, or even subscribe thing gets taken off. So make sure you're always tuned in or have a connection. I'm not monetized by YouTube, so donations are greatly appreciated. And the donation link will be in the description, as well as, again, the links for private session, for the Grid Keepers group. And as far as like purchasing the handbook, the HJR seminars shop has it, has a link for it. Private sessions has it. The Grid Keepers has it. You can get it easy through Lulu, Press. The Waking Alania series has its own page on the website. So you click on that and get a little bit more information as well about the books. Do that. The Waking Alania series is, if you're in the United States, you can purchase it through Amazon. If you're in, well, both the United States and international through Lulu. I had problems with Amazon internationally, so I'm just not doing it internationally. I don't get paid if I do it that way. And that's part of just dealing with the transition from the old matrix to the new. There's a new baking system, organic baking system that's going to be coming online through the Earth Alliance. So the old matrix baking system is called the witches. So you want to take care of that. You probably big banks, institutions you probably want to get out of and go into more of the savings and loan type, credit union type banking systems. And what's the one you have in Europe that's the equivalent to
NatWest.
say that again?
NatWest.
Yeah. Okay. And the schedule. This is a reminder for people. HJR Insights Tarot Q&A will be a week from today on the 14th. Will be a premiere posted. The HJR Insights Tarot show again the last Tuesday of the month, which will be the 28th, and there's a forecast for July. I didn't update that for August. And Mastery of Keylonta episode 10, I did do that, will be August 4th. So be on the lookout for premieres. And again, make sure the notification button is clicked to be notified of these pre-recorded premieres. That was, yeah. Thank you, everybody. I think we went past the hour, so for that I am reprogramming grid. But speaking on that, and I should have that in the description box as well. Luce, you want to talk a little bit about your Telegram channel group for people that are wanting to get the older material, like Bunny or Keylonta Freedom Teachings?
Yeah, so back in 2025, I really had a vision and kind of really started to realize how difficult it is to just have a place where you can access the other materials. And going for the materials myself, I really realized that they're still very, very valuable. I have so much resonance with these teachings, and just generally, they've really, really helped me out in so many different ways, and they still are. I still think the material is very, very important because, again, I went and started the newer stuff. Didn't know my ass my elbow because she doesn't really go into any of the foundation stuff, so I ended up having to go through the foundation stuff, and through going through the foundation stuff, I could really finally start to really connect to the newer stuff, and it was really like a big process. So. And because I think it was just so I just wanted to create a process for people to just have an easier time with just creating their own authentic connection to God source in whatever way that wants to manifest. So
you want to let them know the name of your YouTube or of your Telegram channel?
I was just called the Workshop Vault. And it's just a giant vault of workshops that you can just download and put onto a hard drive, and you can always have access to it.
Yeah, and I will have the link in the description box for that.
Thank you.
And he also has, by the way, a donation button for that. For those
Thank you.
that feel that have the funds to be able to donate, because he's still working hard on putting it together. He's always adding new material for this fall.
Oh yeah, constantly going for the workshops, trying to get all the techniques in order and all this other kind of stuff, and oh god. It's never ending.
So with that, thank you everybody
Thank
that
you.
tuned in, and hope to see you guys tomorrow. Again, we covered quite a bit of stuff today. We would very much love to hear your thoughts, your comments, any questions that maybe came up, any questions you might have on the content. If you have it, somebody else probably has it too. So putting those in the description, in the, not description box, in the chat. Or if you really kind of have personal questions about stuff that you just don't want to put publicly, Katie@harmonizingjourney.com is my email address. If you want to email me, that's great. And yeah, thank you.
Good luck, guys.